So what happened from there? Did you obviously so you found this out and it's just become the norm that this is happening?
That was just the beginning.
Yeah. So would you say this
That
is
was
where
mild.
Is this where it started? Like this started to unfold everything else? Because you're still working as a stockbroker at this point, aren't you? You're like, what the fuck's going on?
In the end, the crack dealers had to move on. They only stay there for about 5-6 weeks, and they've got to move on because the police will come otherwise.
Right.
So I moved back in my place, and it was brilliant because a lot of them were paranoid. So I put my hand down the sofa like that, and there were big rocks of crack. They'd stashed the drugs because they were that high, but they forgot to stash them. So I'm like, hey, winner, chicken dinner, enjoying it. And then, cut a long story short, I had a party, and some guy come over, shot himself in the head, and he's laying half in the flat and half out the flat. The police come, take me down, the homicide squad come, take my passport from me, do an investigation, it come back as suicide, and give me my passport back. But after that, I didn't want to live in that flat. I wanted to move somewhere else.
So basically, the apartment had rented him. He started out renting it off to a Colombian drug lord, and it ended with a corpse on the doorstep.
Shit.
Mm. And we had better days than that, like.
God, yeah, let's talk about those days. What? So that happened, obviously, and you've got him another apartment.
Yeah, he moved to the west side of Phoenix with this perm-haired cowboy gangster disciple guy.
Are you still like dead clean cut here?
I'm still a stockbroker.
You're still just...
So we relocate him to this apartment on the west side. I think they're behind in their rent or something. So I put down some money for it. The steroid head bouncer perm-haired cowboy says he's a tough guy. He's in there with these two women. And... he's like talking all this tough stuff, this guy, and I'm thinking,
Dick.
Peter's, he's probably going to get purified by the wild man if he keeps talking like that. And
He told me to do the dishes and tidy up after myself. So put his head through the wall. Literally got his head and just smashed it through the wall. And he went running out with plaster of Paris all over his head.
So I just put down like £1,000 deposit to house Peter in this place.
Right.
So I call up the apartment manager, and the apartment manager says, we're going to have to evict Peter. And I said, why? She said, because he's put his roommate's head through the wall. And I said, did you see him putting his roommate's head through the wall? And she said, no, but he was seen running through the apartment complex with plaster all over his head and face, screaming for someone to help him because he'd been assaulted.
Didn't tell me to tidy up again, though.
Fortunately, Peter had done this so quickly within moving in, they hadn't cashed the check. And I was able to stop it. I was able to stop it, yeah.
Right. So you've got your grand back.
The two girls that he was living with, one of them is dating a guy in Tempe, Arizona, who's behind on his rent. So Wildman moves there next, and this becomes the hub then for the beginning of the criminal enterprise. This is where we meet all our people, like Russian mafia, Mexican mafia, everyone through this.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Come on, what happened?
Where we actually moved to, it was brilliant. It was like it was a college apartment, so it was just like full of college people.
Like University of Arizona State University.
Right.
Yeah. It was like 2 doors away from me. There was like cheerleaders, and they were all getting high. And it was just, it just made sense to sell drugs there.
Go on, tell us about the people that you've met and when it all started. When did it kind of start to...
So this apartment is owned by a guy called Crybaby Joe. And he gets in debt with me. Crybaby Joe gets in debt with me. He's trying to sell pills and stuff. And so Wildman just takes over the place then, starts to sell off all of his furniture. And there's holes in all the walls and the ceiling. And he just starts throwing his own parties and inviting everybody over from like street people, Native American transsexuals, Russian mafia, Mexican mafia. And it just became this non-stop party place.
And everyone just got on.
Everyone got on. It was amazing. They're all on ecstasy and all just hugging and telling each other their life stories, and we were just listening to chilled out music.
Why the hell's like this kind of people all together like in one place?
Wherever
How
Peter
does that
went,
I
wherever
always met these people. I don't know why, how or why, but I'd always bump into them and
You attract
get
them.
talking to them. Yeah,
it's like this. When I was a young person in my teens, I was a bit shy and anxious till I got on the ecstasy. But Peter would talk to absolutely anybody. And that carried through into later in our lives. He opened all the doors for me to meet certain people.
So you've kind of like bounced off each other in one way or another.
Yeah, and wherever he would go, whether it was LA, we all drove out to a rave in LA, took my whole crew out there. Peter's like, I'm not going. By the end of the night, when we come home from that rave, he's got all the street people coming to the hotel room giving him free drugs. There's a guy in a Viper's got a kilo of coke in it. He's asking Peter to be his bodyguard.
Wow.
Wherever he goes,
He just attracts it.
he just attracts everyone. Doesn't matter what walks of life they're from.
Oh, that's
He
good.
starts running the place. They said if we sent him down to Mexico and he behaved like he does, violent, they would kill him.
Yeah.
And he went down to Mexico and they called him El Oso de Burr because of his fighting style. The guys, the mafia guys there were running him round in jeeps.
Literally got 9 lives.
Buzzing off him. Anywhere he goes, he just does it. He's got this ability.
So you've got all these people in your life now. You said before, like, your people. When you say your people, were these people that started working for you, or like where did all the
Misfits. We were a bunch of misfits who formed a crime family.
right?
Not a traditional crime
So
family.
this was ecstasy, wasn't it?
It was the rave scene. There were people from all walks of life, odd people, and we became a really tight unit.
What kind of people? So when you say like misfits, who was in the group? Obviously, I'm not saying names, but like what kind of people? Did you all?
They range from Brainiac, Arizona State University students, like the Rabbit, like certain other people, to... Go on, you want to expand?
there was literally all sorts. There was like from university people to black gangsters, Antoine and stuff.
Yeah. My top sales guy, when I first met him, he was homeless and smoking crack. And I ended up helping him get a house and everything.
Oh.
He'd be moving like 10,000 pills. He was.
Yeah.
He did his wrong though in the end, didn't he?
In the end, there was a fallout between him, Skinner, and Peter that caused some problems.
Did that happen a lot when you were kind of working in that industry? Where
Well, there ended up with about 200 people working for me.
shit.
So there was...
Let's start from before like we go too much into that.
Yeah.
So you've said it. This is where. So this new place is your new hub. Like
Yeah.
this is where it
Rancho
all-
Murrieta to become
Rancho
Rancho
So
Murrieta.
how the hell did you end up like selling like the amount that you did on the scale? Was it like I read £4 million worth or something?
All right, so at the Rancho Murrieta level, this is an experiment now for me. I'm still a stockbroker.
Okay.
So what...
As if she's still doing that. That's-
We're having these parties that I've described, and we can get about 100 pills from the local dealers. And they're going like that. And I'm seeing the business potential of it now.
right.
So I find out that they're getting them from LA. Me and Peter and Seth and Acid Joey, and Seth and Acid Joey are dead now. We all go out to LA, and we're parked outside this surfer gangster's house waiting for him to come home to get these pills. And he comes in, I go in on my own. Those guys are like my backup outside. And I've got all this money on me, like, I don't know, 10, 15,000. I'm thinking, I'm going to get robbed, with the cops watching this place, what's going to happen? And he goes into a back room and he comes out with the biggest bag of ecstasy pills I've ever seen in my life. Like 1,000 Mitsubishis or something like that. So I say, all right, can I try one? He goes, do you want me to get you a drink? I'm like, nah, I'm just going to chew it because I know what the taste of ecstasy is. So I just chewed it and it was a good pill. And that was it. We all dropped pills, drove back and got to his place, and they were gone in the weekend. They were all sold. So I'm thinking, do I want to keep working the stock market, working these long
What did you make
hours?
from that? From selling them? Do you remember?
All right. So this was before it was like there was multiple levels of the sales distribution channels. I was just doing it on my own on this experimental basis. So I bought those for about $12 a pill, and they were going anywhere from $20 to $30 a pill, depending on how much people bought. So I doubled whatever the money was in a weekend.
And then so you were weighing up, why am I doing stockbroking now?
Yes.
Like, shall I move out of it?
Yes.
And did you? Is that when you, was it an immediate
I did,
thing?
yeah, but Peter, then his stay was not that long because he ended up getting deported for the first time.
Back to here?
Yeah.
Right.
I ended up getting kicked out from America. And I was in immigration for about 4 months. And I got deported back.
4 months?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Wasn't too bad, really. It was because... Oh, excuse me. For one, I was the biggest person in there because they're all little Mexicans. And they're only about this big. And the food was really good. It's not like prison. It's like... it's sort of like you're in a detention centre, but they don't treat you like a prison. You're allowed
You're just
money.
chilled.
You're just dead chilled, yeah.
Right, okay.
Got deported, come back to England. I was home for about